Hello everybody, my name is Scruff and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be explaining how I completed this art piece and just talking through my methods and how I went through it. It took me 10 hours and 7 minutes. I did it on my iPad Pro 11-inch with a Gen 2 Apple Pencil. Alright, so let's get back into this speed paint video time-lapse replay. Awesome. So, first of all, I wanted to do Twilight and her kids. So this is for an art piece, like an art competition for Kia, one of my favorite pony creators on TikTok. She has an AU and has her own OCs and everything inside of it, and it's just like the coolest thing ever. So I wanted to do a piece, and obviously for an art competition, and yeah, just because I like drawing her OCs. I wanted to first do Twilight and her kids, so Centura and Stella, then changed from that to do, I wanted to do Sunset, discovering Twilight, and kind of like the stuff behind their series or AU is that alicorns are very like biblical angel-esque, so they're very cool. They have multiple eyes and stuff, and Sunset's discovering Twilight in pain because the like alicorn kind of gives, like, being an alicorn has you in pain sort of thing. Sorry, I'm really bad at describing it, but it's really cool because I just like the story and theory behind it. Anyway, I ended up not choosing to go with either of those two options. I settled on Centura and Stella back before the alicorns kind of started to experience more pain and like suffering. I went back a little bit and had my own little headcanon of just both of them hanging out and being friends with each other and chilling again. And it's like cute sisterly love. They're just having fun. Anyway, how I like drew both of them together, I always set out my ponies obviously with a circle for the head. Generally I like to do a circle for the body. If not, then I'll always make it like look a little bit like a bean sort of thing, just because it's the easiest way I can kind of get their chest and then also like rear leg shape kind of defined. I always block out with like very basic primitive shapes for the wings first, and then obviously ponies' legs are fairly easy too, just with like the triangle rhombus shape type of thing. I tend to obviously draw the eyes and face first whenever I do these sort of things. It gives me a idea on what the rest of the mood for the rest of the piece is going to be like, makes me kind of like excited, or gives me an incentive to continue working on everything else so that I can actually see it kind of finished. It just always like, I don't know, it helps me work and function pretty well with it. I am currently just like doing my, I don't know, my style of line art and erasing all of the sketch to line art, adding all the little details and everything, making sure that all of their character traits are accurately positioned and stuff. I always like, whenever I do this, I separate the foreground parts of like a body, especially for normal characters and ponies too. I separate the normal like parts of the body into different layers so that I can work on the wing or the hair or the front set of hooves, like front meaning closest to the camera, sorry. I always work on those closest, or lol. I always work on those first, have the other ones separate so that I can just kind of work without worrying about deleting or erasing anything accidentally too. Here's me doing it for Stella as well. So as you can see, I separated the back wing and the kind of further away hooves from the camera, and then I also separated the front wing as well, just so I can do that on its own too. It means that I get like freedom of being messy with stuff. I'm not like, I'd say I'm not really messy, but I like just not having to worry about accidentally stuffing something up. I don't usually work in a lot of layers. I usually will separate them, and then once I've separated it and I'm happy with whatever I did on the layer, I'll literally just merge them all back together as well too. I am working on the wing. It's very fun. I think I do wings like very old style, but I like doing them this way. It's always fun doing wings. And then here I am getting to start on base coloring. So I always pick like their main, like their skin color to outline the entire character, just so I can put it down as the base color for the whole piece. And then afterwards I can go in with the characters like other base colors and everything. So, you know, obviously for Stella's I can put in the gradients on her wings, the colors on her hooves, the actual fluff patterning and stuff. just because that first base color lets me kind of like do clipping masks and like different layers that make it a little bit easier for organizing. Especially whenever I go in to do shading layers, I use the multiply layer for all of my shading, and having each different like color be separated is just kind of annoying, but it also lets me fiddle with each different color. And I think we're over to, so like I said before, I do always tend to do the eyes, like I render those out before I've even finished the base colors, just because it lets me kind of see what it'll look like further, or how my art style is going to be, especially in like the final piece for it too. There's me just grabbing their cutie marks. And then here I start on the background, so I'm just blocking out shapes again for the clouds, chucking in as much like different light areas as I can, blending it, erasing some stuff, chucking in some more base shapes, and then I blurred it all again just to, I'd say, make it more look backgroundy. Then I literally just duplicated that one layer a little bit ago. So I just duplicated this layer and then flipped it, moved it to the foreground, and then flipped it and moved it to the background. And then for the foreground one, I just lightened the layer a little bit with the hue, saturation, brightness toggle thing. And then for the background, I chucked on multiply and then also made it more saturated too. Here's me mucking around with the background. I love doing galaxy things so much. I don't know if you guys can tell, considering it's literally my background. But there's me fiddling with all that. I was chucking in a whole bunch of different layers and trying to make it as more like bright and hardcore art piece as possible. Like the saturation on a lot of these is bumped up to a lot more than what I normally would do, but I think it kind of says that it's more of a happy-ish piece, and I know saturated colors are generally really nice to get that across. And then I'm just changing line art layers just to make sure that those details are there too. And then my little hair shading, chucked on an extra little bit of additive yellow just towards Centura, which is the one on the left, by the way. And then time to do shading on Stella. Both of them are pretty fun to do. I like that both sisters are, you can tell that they're related, but they're like different in their own way. I think it's really cool. And pretty much did the same thing. Since I already did it once, it was kind of easy to do immediately right after on the next pony. I don't know why I always like, I usually do like only one character pieces, and getting to do like one or two characters in it was actually really cool. I also really loved how like the clouds came out. I like was discovering in the middle of this, like I'm not actually too bad at environments. My studying in high school actually paid off. And that's pretty much it. I was just chucking on some extra layers just to kind of really bump out those colors. I put on an extra gradient map, and I was just turning them into stickers for obviously the cover. Lol. Anyway, hope you guys liked it. Shout out to Kia, obviously. Their username is FLVTTY on TikTok if you want to go check out their AU. I'm pretty sure their art competition ends in a couple days now, so if you still want to chuck in art for it, I'd say definitely. It's to celebrate their 30,000 followers on TikTok, so hopefully I get noticed. And well, I mean, they've already commented and stuff because I posted this ages ago on TikTok, but I just finally got the chance to record it now. Anyway, sorry for yapping too much if you think it's annoying, but thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!